Willie?
Joining us now, DNC Chairman Tom Perez. Mr. Chairman, thanks for being with us. Let's pick up on that conversation about voting by mail. The President of the United States has several times now voiced his concern that there is corruption in voter mail, that there is fraud in mail-in voting. Obviously, he voted himself last month. Do you have any concerns that if we do have to go to larger scale mail voting in the fall, that there might be corruption?
I have no concerns whatsoever, Willie. And your previous person was absolutely right, correct. Here's the deal. You look at Washington State, you look at Oregon, you look at California. There's all sorts of vote-by-mail states. They've been challenged. They've been reviewed. It has shown that there is no real issue of voter fraud. Period. End of story. The reality, Willie, is this. This president has only two pathways to success this November. Number one, he has to get an ever-narrowing base, every vote out of that ever-narrowing base. And number two, he has to suppress the vote. And what we saw this week in Wisconsin was beyond unconscionable, putting people's lives at risk so that they could have an election. There were 5 voting centers in the city of Milwaukee, which is why you had 2-hour delays. People putting themselves in harm's way. We need in the next stimulus bill to make sure that there's additional resources for states so that there is a choice for voters this November, if we need to, that they can vote by mail. And there are some really important principles, Willie, making sure that as long as it is postmarked by Election Day, it is okay. Number 2, making sure that it is a stamp with it so that it doesn't cost the voter anything. Making sure that we don't allow states to use the so-called signature matching requirements to say that a number of ballots will not be allowed. We can do vote by mail. We are already doing it across this country. And to state otherwise is just absolutely a load of you-know-what.
And you can add in the state of Utah, which typically votes Republican, which has been voting by mail for some time now as well. Mr. Chairman, let me ask you about the developments this week. Bernie Sanders, of course, suspending his presidential campaign, saying he did not see a path forward to the nomination. What is your message to some of his supporters, his faithful supporters, people who voted for him in these primaries who say, Joe Biden does not share my values. He's not progressive enough. I can't show up at the polls to vote for him. We've heard some of that bubbling up. I suspect Senator Sanders will come out and say this is too important. We can't afford to let Donald Trump stay in the White House for 4 more years. You should get behind the nominee. What's your message to those supporters of Bernie Sanders?
We're going to work hard during your vote. Senator Sanders, what he has stood for, what he has fought for throughout his career is an America that works for everyone, making sure that nobody is left behind. That's why I have so much respect for him. And I know the vice president does as well. And I'll tell you, and I will tell every voter this, what unites us as a party far exceeds what our differences are. 6 weeks ago, we had 8 candidates in the race, and now we have a presumptive nominee. And you know what? We are coming together as a party like I have not seen ever before. We're coming together because we have an existential threat in Donald Trump. Oh, look at your show. Look at the utter incompetence of this president. He's putting lives at risk. He's putting livelihoods at risk. And this is why I am confident we will work for every vote. The vice president will work for every vote. We're building a broad coalition across this country, and we will take that coalition so that we can elect Joe Biden and restore competence, dignity, character, and accomplishment to this White House and restore our stature in the world.
And quickly, before I let you go, Mr. Chairman, are you expecting there to be a convention, a Democratic National Convention, come August? You've postponed it a month. But as you look at the reality of where we are and what doctors are saying, can you have thousands of people congregating in one place in August?
Well, we're looking forward to being in Milwaukee in August. We are going to put on the most exciting convention, the most muscular convention possible. At the same time, we're going to make sure it's safe and sound. We are not going to put our public health heads in the sand, unlike this president every single day. We're going to make sure it's safe for everyone. And having 5 extra weeks enables us to prepare better and to make sure that we can allow the vice president to put his best foot forward, to put our values forward. But we will always put safety first. That's job one.
We can all hope as a country that it's safe enough by August for everyone, for whatever their party, to get together and congregate. DNC Chairman Tom Perez, thanks so much for your time this morning. We appreciate it.
Thanks for checking out MSNBC on YouTube, and make sure you subscribe to stay up to date on the day's biggest stories. And you can click on any of the videos around us to watch more from Morning Joe and MSNBC. Thanks so much for watching.